Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nello. In this episode, we're going to be discussing the data analyst role and if it is going to be replaced by AI. Now, if you haven't seen all the posts on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok about AI coming in and changing everything, you must be living under a rock. There has been a lot of conversation online about AI. Myself, I'm a strong participant in the AI conversation, and I'm a huge advocate for adoption of technology. But I do not want us to have fear when a new technology comes in, because just because a new technology is coming in and it can potentially replace older ones doesn't mean that it is necessarily a bad thing. And I'm going to talk about this in the context of the data analyst role. Now, what am I seeing with the data analyst role? Personally, I know that there's not as much demand for data analytics like there was 4 or 5 years ago, and the reason is because the talent pool has increased. Think about it, when there are more people gunning for one job, it becomes more competitive, right? However, if there are not a huge number of people going for an opportunity, you have more chances of winning. Whereas when there is a huger pool of people, does this mean that because there are more people going for something that you can't get it? No, you still can't get it, even though there are more people. And let me tell you why I still strongly believe that the analytics role is still a really good one for you to start your career, even though it's more challenging for you to get a job in. The reason is because, number one, there are so many companies that are looking for analysts. Like I was saying, you can start from a small business. Like every single company has data and they probably need analysts. They need analysts to clean the data. They need analysts to look at Excel. It just depends on how you brand yourself, but I'm solid that there's an opportunity for you if you do your job search properly. If you put in the work, you're going to see the results. It may not happen as quickly as it would in the past because the market is competitive, but I don't want you to be discouraged. Now let's talk about AI replacing the data analyst role. I don't think that this is something that is happening at this second. I think this is a futuristic thing that might happen. I'm seeing where people are saying, oh, we're using AI to generate this report and this and that. I want you guys to think about it in the context of big corporations. I keep saying it. Big corporations are the things we should be looking at, and not necessarily small businesses. And a lot of the times, big corporations are not telling you how they're operating online. They only market their product. So if you see anybody representing a big corporation online, they're not communicating from a point of, this is how the big corporation is operating. They're communicating from a point of, I work in the marketing team. These are the products that we're selling. We're selling loans. We're selling this. So most times you see people online talking about AI agents and what they can do. They are marketers. They don't really know what's happening in the corporation space. You need to get your information from people who are working in corporations, especially as a job seeker. This is something that is very important. I've noticed that that's where the gap is. If you listen to people who are marketing, they're marketing a product, they don't really have the internal knowledge on how things are working in a corporation. They're just trying to push their product, and you can be misled. You can be misled because just because they're marketing their product doesn't mean that that's what's happening in the corporations. The corporations are operating differently. So please make sure that you're filtering your source of information. I'm a business owner myself and I push my products. I try to market them in a way that is ethical. I do not want to mislead anybody. But just know and believe that not everybody has that same mindset. Some people will sell you anything. They just want you to buy. They have quotas to meet. Salespeople have quotas to meet. Take it from someone who has done sales. You guys have seen me do sales on this channel. They got quotas to meet. Maybe they will sell you anything. Does that mean that it's true? No. So you have to filter your source of information. That's the first thing I want you to take away from this video. Now, when I'm looking at the way corporations are operating, and I can speak for most of the corporations that I've worked in, and you guys already know I have worked in many corporations here in the United States. I do not see that data analysts are going to be replaced by AI anytime. The first reason I would say that is because when it comes to AI agents, I don't know any big corporation that has AI agents fully integrated into their enterprise workflow, and AI agents are doing things for them. Maybe the big tech companies, I don't have visibility on how the big tech companies operate. But from what I'm seeing in regular corporations, I haven't seen that. The most I've seen, even with startups, is Copilot. The most that they've integrated into their workflow in terms of enterprise level is Copilot. Email automation, docs, helping find things, helping summarize things like that. I haven't seen an AI agent actually doing analysis, even though I know the technology exists, especially with Amazon. I've seen Amazon has released something like that. I haven't seen it happen in real life. And I will say one of the reasons why is because of how complex their processes are. Your job in a corporation might just be to be moving something from here to here. That's all your job. And someone else moves it because the scale is so big. I want you to think about that as you are talking to these people who are marketing. If it is not somebody who's working in a job saying, we are letting go of all of the analysts in our corporation, I don't want you to believe it. If the person saying we're letting go of all the analysts in our corporation is someone who's trying to sell you an AI solution, you should side eye that information, because the goal there is to sell you an AI solution. I'm not saying that it's always wrong, but it's just something I want you to take note of. With that being said, I do think that there's a huge possibility that the analyst role will disappear in the future, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I don't think that these AIs have gotten to the point where they're good enough to do what the analysts are doing. I know that there are more talents in the market than there are jobs. I wouldn't even say that. The game has changed. I think the jobs are still there. It's just like the way to find the job. There are more talent. It's more competitive. It's no longer as easy as it used to be. But if you want to start your career as an analyst, I still recommend it. Do not forget, you don't have to stay an analyst. One of the reasons I highly advocate for data analytics is because it has one of the lowest barriers for entry. So if you want to start there, it really is a really good place for you to start. You can really just start with Excel. A lot of companies might just be looking for someone who can come and help them with all the Excel things they have. Or Power BI, you don't have to start with like super advanced skill, and you still earn relatively decently. So just something for you to think about. Block out the noise. People are going to sell their products. It doesn't mean that that's actually what's happening. You have to filter out where you get your information. I'm going to put all my socials on the screen. I talk about tech, data, and AI from my personal knowledge. I don't have any AI product. When I talk about AI, I talk about it because I believe it's something that we should all watch. It's an amazing technology that would change the world. I still believe that. It may just not be happening at the speed that people want it to happen. It's going to happen slowly, right? The next 10 years, the way we operate is going to be different from the way we operate right now. But does that mean that because things are going to change in 10 years, that analysts are not going to have jobs in today's time? That is completely false. So I want you guys to just be aware of like the information that you consume, how you consume them. I'm rooting for you. If there's someone who's interested in analytics, do not forget I wrote a whole guide for you, a book that helps you to actually land and understand your first data job. And I don't think that this guide is only for analysts. This is a great guide for anybody who's interested in data, period. It also has strong introduction to AI concepts and AI tools as well. So we didn't only talk about data in the guide, we talked about like AI tools, AI concepts, the different data roles. I did an amazing job. Myself and my team, we did an amazing job with this. I'm super proud of the work that we've done. So if you're interested, I'm gonna leave a link in the description box for you to get your hands on it and grab it. Again, it is not as easy as it used to be in the past to get a job in analytics, but doesn't mean that analysts are not existing. They're there. They're there in startups, they're there in mid-sized companies, they're there in small companies, they're there in large companies. The analyst role will never go away. And let me tell you why. Because companies will consistently need to report what they are doing. How do they do the reporting? How do they collect the data for the reporting? They do that through analysts. So if you're an analyst, I don't want you to be scared about AI. AI would only be a collaborator, right? So if you're an analyst, what I would recommend, learn how to leverage AI in your work. Learn how to communicate better. Don't just be an analyst who the only thing you know is SQL commands and Excel formulas. Like, be an analyst who understands the business problem as well. Be an analyst who can communicate. Be an analyst who can be a go-to person for XYZ. And I think that will help you completely stand out. If you're new here, my name is Nello. I'm a founder who loves to talk about tech, data, and AI. If you like the conversation in this video, you're going to love my newsletter. Make sure you use the link in my bio to join. And do not forget to give me a subscribe as well. And as always, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.